Let's check out part two of the Charvel, the 2007 Charvel Warren Demartini Bomber. Hey guys, hey gals, 40 Grit here, 40 Grit Guitars. As we're looking at her right now, she's done and just playing amazing, nice, smooth bends, all cleaned up, ready to go. I recorded the majority of the reassembly, the fretting, the fret job, all that good stuff. So I'm going to play it all back for you guys, but this will be part two and the final on the Warren Demartini Charvel Bomber. Lucky to have one again, popped up on eBay or popped up on Reverb. I already went through the story. So let's take it out to the bench. Let's go check it out. Let's go rehabilitate the Bomber. Okay, so I got this neck all ready to go. I'm hesitant to do the leveling process because everybody's got their own way of doing it. I have a way of doing it. I despise doing fret work. I just don't enjoy it. It's not something I enjoy, but I'm not going to be able to bypass it on this one. So I've got some progress going. I did get the pickup for the Bomber. The Bomber pickup is in. There's nothing else doing back there right now. I just got to do this a little bit at a time. So this video will surely be pieced together. Tuners are in. The bridge is done. I got the bridge put back together the way I want it. So what I did is the first thing you want to do when you're doing a fret job is you want to make sure the neck is level. So the neck is leveled out. I got a bunch of different tools I use for that stuff. I probably won't go too deep on this one just because of time and you know what I have going on. So, but this is surely in need of a level and crown. So what I will do is I'm going to level and crown this one right now. So she's all set up and she's ready to go. So I've got all the frets, Sharpie pen. That's going to let me know how much I'm taking off and where I'm taking it off. I use these diamond files on easy fret jobs. The reason why I've got a fine and I have an extra fine right there, the reason why I do that is it takes minimal off. It takes minimal off. I mean, you go hogging on it with a file and you're just going to take too much fret off. So what I do is I just run it up. I really don't put much pressure on it. I just run it up and down the neck. Neck's already leveled out, the wood part. So I'm just going to take a little bit of off these until I get them level, and then I'll recrown them. So that's on easy fret jobs. I just use the diamond files. Okay, I'm good to go. I'm level. Everything's leveled out. These diamond files are just badass, man. If you need to take off just a little bit, I got a fine and an extra fine, and you have to put no weight on it. You just let it run up and down the fretboard so it doesn't mess with the radius of the frets. And she's all leveled out, and I'm going to crown now. Okay, I am crowned, and it looks good. So I will fine tune this tomorrow. I got to head to work. But crowning is done, leveling is done, crowning is done. I'll let this sit. Those centered Z files are badass. It just takes all the guesswork out of it. So if you're new to fretting, or you know, if you just don't want to sit there all day and file on frets, those centered Z files, you really can't goof it up. They give you your fine line for your crown, and then you're going to sand the tops, get them all cleaned up, buff them out, and then you'll be ready for the road. Okay, so I got the fret job done. I cleaned it up with some naphtha once I got done. Clean up the entire neck. The neck looks great. I put some Monty's that wax on the back, and the back of the neck feels really good. Let that sit for about 15 minutes. Let it soak in. I sweated out all those bumps, so all the bumps are gone. Everything feels pretty good. I might feel that one there just a little bit. So just take some 220 and I still feel that one a little bit. Let's see if I may have to bump that out a little bit more. Either way, it's nowhere near as bad as it was. Put the tuners on. I had to enlarge these because these shallower inserts, they've got a lip on them now that goes around the inside. So I had to enlarge these a little bit. No problem, no biggie. Fret job's done. Remounted the neck. There was no shim in there, so I'm good to go. And I put the pickup in. So I haven't wired anything yet. I'm just slowly putting everything back together. Reason for me starting this video, though, is talking about the sandpaper on the nut that you're going to use. This is a R3. R3 is what came on it. Like I said in the live video, I used it. There was an R2 on it, which caused for that shim. So I'm not going to be using that. I'm going to be putting the R3 back on it. So I put this nut in, and it was kind of, when I seated it, there was a gap there. So you can close that gap. Just put some 120 on this end, and I slid it back and forth just to square up that fretboard. and I see a little bit of residual coming out on both sides, so that means that it's getting square. And then once you get that done, it should seat nice and good. Pull your tape off. Get that residual off there, that residue. Stick it on there, and now it sits really good. It looks really good, side to side. It looks like it's seated correctly, and everything looks good. A little bit of overhang on both sides, but I doubt they sanded that when they put that R2 on there. It definitely calls for an R3. So I will secure this nut, and then I'll be back. One of the cool little things we did, sir, is we would cut off the shrink tube and just put it on the string tree to where your screws don't fall out. John was always saying that he wanted that shrink on there, so when you put that shrink on there, it keeps the screw from falling out. It just stays secured in there, so your screws will never fall out of the string tree. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to put this string tree back on. Calls for chrome, and I'm not going to put it in all the way because I haven't strung it back up yet, but that'll be good for now. So sometimes with that swelling, it'll come back, like I was just saying a minute ago. So what I did is I took some 120 and I just went over it real quick, just a couple of swipes on it. Sometimes if you sweat it out, it'll recede. So what I did is I just hit it with some 120, got it flush, and then put 220 on it, cleaned it up a little bit. And I'm gonna take some more of this Monty stuff. This stuff's good stuff. I like using this, especially on the maple neck. So I'll just rehydrate this here real quick, put this back in there, and you won't even notice what was doing there. I usually let this stuff set for about 15 minutes, and then wipe her up, and then it'll be nice and smooth. Side of that neck feels great. Monty's. Use it. Okay, so I have the nut starting from the headstock now. I've got it strung up. Starting from the headstock, tuners are back on. Everything's tight. String tree's on. Everything's good there. The strings are laying flush to the nut all the way across, which means once I block this, I won't have any tuning problems. So always make sure that these strings are laying flat on the nut. And then I'm going to check the nut. This nut is perfect. I went back to the R3, and going back to the R3, the nut is perfect. So no issues there. I did seat the nut, just put some pressure on it with my hammer, just love taps. Make sure that it seats all the way to the front. You know, that can affect intonation. And then we're on to the neck. So we're going to start working our way down the neck now, and we're going to finish this one up here pretty quick. Okay, so I'm getting ready to rewire everything. I'm going to go with a Bourne's low friction EVH. I got to redo my input jack. I'm going to rewire everything just so that I know my peace of mind's there with regards to everything that's on the guitar. I had a comment the other day asking me why I would take a guitar apart. It's such an expensive guitar apart. Well, first of all, because I feel comfortable doing it, and number two, I feel like I can make it better. So if you feel like you have the ability to make something better and go through it and give yourself the reliability factor and make sure that everything's cool on it, it's not going to hurt anything. So let me get this stuff tinned up, and then I'll go through some wiring and soldering. You know, I've also seen some YouTube videos talking about, you know, soldering is easy, and soldering is not easy if you do it correctly, and you just got to make sure that you have clean solder joints, and you know, it truly is an art in my opinion, especially after my time at John Sir. I mean, those guys were just the experts, and luckily enough for me, I got to be mentored by that. And so anyways, let's get this stuff going and get it wired up. Okay, I'm good to go. I have the output ground. I've got the pot grounded. All of my my output and my input is tinned, and I got my output jack done. So I'm ready to go. Let's put this in. Okay, she's wired in. Always test your when you put your input jack in. Always test your input jack to make sure that it's going in. Well, I put a pure tone in there, so it's going to click twice. Just a better seating on those. So take a look at the wiring job. Fantastic, nice, bright solder joints. Everything's good. Everything's tucked. there's not going to be any issues there, and I already have signal. So let's get this tuned up. Okay, let's check out the pickup on this. I went ahead and went for the original that came in with it. That's a RTM Duncan, 18.65 on the RTM. Looks good. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick recap on the Bomber. We swapped out the tuners on this. The nut was an R2 when it came, and we swapped it back to an R3. The frets were leveled and crowned. I replaced the pickup because it was relict. I cleaned up the bridge. There was some gunk between the saddles, which were keeping the saddles from functioning correctly. So I got that figured out. We put the gold high E saddle on there, which looks cool. That's how Warren's guitar sits to this day. So let's take this bridge out. We'll flip it over here. Shallow tuners. This is not a custom shop because of the signature on the back. We got the bumps out of the back of the neck. It feels perfect. There's not a bump back there anymore. Replace the tuner buttons to the originals. The back plate that was inside the case is a Jackson plate. That doesn't mean I can't fix it, but it's too big for the pocket. So I've done this before. I purchased this before and sanded those down to where you can make it fit. The back plate is on, looks perfect. There's imperfections on the body. I decided to leave them just because it is a 2007 guitar, so I'm going to leave it as it sits. She's perfect. She's ready to roll. Let's go out or let's go in and let's go put her on the amp. All right, let's get a weight on the Bomber. She's all set, ready for the road. 7.14, my favorite. String alignment's off a little bit to the bass side, but that's okay because it's going to be off. Treble's okay, and I like the way it's riding inside the pocket there, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. It's a little heavy on the bass side, but that's all right. Okay, I got it on clean channel. Let's just rip through a couple cleans, and then we'll get over to the dirty where it matters. Go over to dirty. Okay, I got her on dirty. Let's rip through this a little bit, and then I'll get you guys out of here. I think the demo stuff was kind of long, so I want to keep the video short. Neck feels amazing, amazing. frets feel a lot better. I adjusted the neck. Neck is perfect. Everything about this guitar feels perfect. I sold this. I had a custom shop very similar to this, and I sold it, and it's just amazing, and I'm so glad I have it back. Intonation set, all that jazz about the, it's just not perfect. The bridge isn't where it should be, but if Charvel felt that it was good enough to ship, then it's good enough to ship, and it's just a visual thing. Let me get you out of here. As always, thanks to my subscribers. Just hit 1,200 today. Never thought I'd get past, or I never thought I'd get to 1,000, let alone get to 1,200. So anyways, it's continuing to grow. I've got a very special guest this Saturday night, Chris from Sir. When I was at Sir, he was the production manager for the amplifiers, pickups, and pretty much everything on that side of the building. So he'll be here Saturday night at 7 o'clock. Please show up. Please write down your questions, because Chris will be the guy to ask. Chris was John's right-hand man with regards to all the amplifiers, everything there. So very lucky to have Chris coming on with me. So I'll see you guys on Saturday. I may see you before then. I may go live tonight or tomorrow night, Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on how the Randy Rhoads shoot turns out today. We're going to be shooting the Randy Rhoads pedal today, and I may see you tonight, may see you tomorrow. Anyways, thanks to everybody. Thanks for all your cool comments. I appreciate the interaction, and I'll see you on the next one.